Hello everyone, I'm Sniti, your French educator from Master French with Sniti, and today we are going to do a very interesting topic, that is the fifth lesson of Apprenons le Français book, which is published by the Saraswati House. So now let us go on to the first page and read it out. So here we are at the first page of the chapter, and as you all know, in my class it is a rule that first we need to read the name of the chapter, then understand its meaning, and therefore we will be able to know how does it refer to the chapter. So the name of the chapter is Dans la classe and it means in the classroom. So it is used here as if we can see in the first page only that there is a conversation between a professor and his students, and then we have a particular conversation between Manuel and Anish, and they both are also students. So now let us read the dialogues one by one. Écoutez et regardez, which means listen and see. So first I'll read the first dialogue, but before doing so, let me tell you that the professor is le professeur, and in the pink it is written les élèves, which means the students. So first come first, the professor says bonjour. The students replies bonjour monsieur. Le professeur, vous avez le livre de français? Les élèves, oui monsieur, nous avons le livre de français. Anish, le professeur est grand. Manuel, oui, en plus il est sympathique. So what do we mean by this conversation? So here the professor first says bonjour, which means hello. The student replies hello sir. The professor then asks, do you have the French book? The student replies that yes sir, we have the book of French. Then Anish says the professor is big. So therefore Manuel replies that yes, and he is also sympathetic. Now let us go on to the second dialogue. Let us read them out first. Manuel, voilà Isabelle. Anish, qui est ça? Manuel, c'est une amie de Caroline. Anish, elle a quel âge? Manuel, elle a 10 ans. Elle est jolie. So what do we understand by this conversation? It means that Manuel says, here is Isabelle. Anish replies, who is it? Manuel says, this is a friend of Caroline. Anish then asks that what is her age? Manuel replies, she is 10-year-old and she is jolly, and it can also be used as pretty. Jolie means pretty or jolly. So now here is a question that we need to answer as per the comprehension by seeing it, and as you all know that I do have another playlist in which I have explained all the question and answers by writing it and explained them to you in a theoretical form. So now you can go on to my other playlist and check this question out. Now let us go on to the next page. Here we have les adjectives, which means the adjectives. So now before starting them, let me tell you that the important topics of this chapter are the adjective, then the agreement of adjective, and then we have the irregular verb voir. Now comes one of the most important part that we need to remember if we are learning French, that is how to describe a person or how to introduce yourself. Now let us go on to the last page, that is we have a small Apprenons table and then we'll complete it. So now first let us go on to the adjectives. We all know that what are adjectives? They add more or they describe about the noun. Yes, for sure. So now here are some topics or points that are given to us that we need to remember. So let us read the first point to remember. In French, the adjectives agree with the noun it qualifies, which means that if the noun is singular, then the adjective will also be singular, and if the noun is plural, then the adjective will also be plural. So now let us see to the example. Here there will be no change in the sound of these words, but just the difference will be in the spelling. So now let us focus on the first example, that is Manuel is big, which means Manuel est grand, which means that Manuel is big. So first let us see to the Manuel. Manuel is a noun, then a means is, and big is an adjective that describes about Manuel. So here there is no s, therefore it is singular. And then let us go on to the next example, that is Manuel et Anish sont grands, which means that Manuel and Anish are big. So here Manuel and Anish are nouns. Sont means are, and grand means adjective. It is an adjective for big. So now as we can see S here, so therefore we derive that if the noun is plural, then the adjective will also be plural, and if the noun is singular, then the adjective will also be singular. Now let us go on to the next point that we need to remember, that is how to change a masculine form of adjective into a feminine form. So we do that normally by adding an E. So here is an example given to us. Caroline est grand. Caroline is big. But there is one thing that we need to remember, that it does not take an E if there is already an E in the ending of the singular masculine form. Like here example is given to us sympathique. E is already there in the masculine singular form. तो अब उसे ज़रूरत क्या है एक और E लगाने की जब E पहले से ही है. So that will remain the same in the feminine singular form. So now here we are at the third point that we need to remember, that is the plural form. How is it formed? So it is formed by adding an S to the singular form. So two examples are given to us, that is ils sont grands and elles sont grandes. So now what is the difference between them, as they both mean the same, that they are big. Just the difference is that the first sentence is in masculine and the second sentence is in feminine. So if we see to the masculine form, S is added to it, yes for sure. But when we see to the feminine form, then E and S, both of them are added. So as we remember in the second point, that feminine of any word is formed by adding an E, and if there is both feminine and plural form, then E and S, both of them will be added. But now it does not take another S if there is already an S in the ending of the singular form. So now here is an example again given to us, that is il est gros, he is fat. Then we have ils sont grands, they are fat. But now just the difference is that the first sentence is in singular and the second sentence is in plural. Now here we have completed the first important topic, and now let us go on to the next important topic, which is the agreement of adjective, which means l'accord des adjectifs. So now here it is written to us that écoutez, observez et répétez, which means listen, observe and then repeat. So now there are segments given to us. The first two rows are of masculine singular and masculine plural. The second two rows are of feminine singular and feminine plural. And at the last we have a row for English. So now let us read the adjectives one by one and let us see to the difference they all have. So now here we are at the first one. Let us read it. That is pati, and it is in masculine singular form. Now when we go to masculine plural form, S is added to it, that is pati, and in feminine singular form we'll have it as petite, which is E is added to it. And when we go on to feminine plural form, E and S, both of them are added to it, as it transforms into petite, which is in English it means small or short. Now when we go on to the second one, that is grand, it means big or tall. In the masculine plural form, S will be added to it, that is grand. And in the feminine singular form, E will be added. In the feminine plural form, E and S, both of them will be added. So in the feminine singular form, we'll read it as grand, and in feminine plural form we'll read it as grand. Then now let us go on to the third one, that is jolie. Jolie, it means pretty or handsome. In the masculine plural form, it will add an S, that is jolie, and in feminine singular form, it will add an E, that is jolie. In feminine plural form, it will add both E and S to the masculine singular form, that it would transform into jolie. Now let us go on to the next one, that is ले. तो अब जब भी मैं ये words पढ़ रही हूँ, you need to focus that how am I spelling these words. The main difference and how do we read in फ्रेंच इज़ दैट हमारे को ये फंडामेंटल रूल पता होना चाहिए कि हम फ्रेंच में जब भी किसी चीज़ को रीड करते हैं तो उसका जो लास्ट वर्ड होता है, लास्ट लेटर जो होता है वर्ड का, वो हम प्रोनाउंस कभी भी नहीं करते. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल लेट अस टेक द फर्स्ट वन, दैट इज़ पति. सो PETIT. So we shouldn't pronounce it as petite, but we should pronounce it as pati, as the last T would be silent. And when we go on to the feminine singular form of pati, it would be PETIT, E. So E is there, so we won't pronounce E, but we will pronounce the last T, that is petite. So now you will be able to read them by yourselves as well. Now let us go on to the next one, that is laid, which means ugly. Then we have laid, which is in the feminine singular form. Now if we see to the masculine plural form, it will remain the same. The pronunciation will remain the same. Just we need to focus on the spelling, that is L-A-I-D. S will be added to it, that is lay. In feminine plural form, we'll have it as laid. E and S, both of them will be added. That means ugly. Now let us go on to the next one. That is intelligent. It is in the masculine singular form, which means intelligent. Then we have the masculine plural form, that is intelligent, but S is added to it. Then we have the feminine singular form, in which E is added to the masculine singular form, that is intelligent. And in the feminine plural form, we have intelligent, but E and S, both of them are added. Now let us go on to the next one, that is must. Must, which means masculine singular form it is in, and it means thin. Then we have the masculine plural form, that is must. S is added to it. And if we go on to the next one, that is feminine singular form, it already had an E in the masculine singular form, therefore there would be no change in it, that is must. And in the feminine plural form, we have it as must, which is E and S, both of them will be added in the masculine singular form, that is must. It means thin. And let us go on to the next one, that is sympathique. Sympathique, which means sympathetic or kind. It in masculine plural form will add an S into it, and in the feminine singular form there would be no change in it, as there is already an E in the ending of the masculine singular form. Then we have it in feminine plural form, that is sympathique. S would be added to it in the masculine singular form, and therefore it ends here. And now let us go on to the next word, that is bon, which means good. Now it in masculine plural form would be bon, S would be added to it, and there would be a lot of change in the feminine singular form, that is bon. So another N and E would be added to it. Now if we go on to the feminine plural form, that is bonne, so N, E and S, all three of them would be added to the masculine singular form, that is bon. Now let us go on to the next one, that is mauvais. Mauvais means bad. Then we have the masculine plural form is mauvais. There will be no change in the form, as there is already an S in the masculine singular form, therefore it will remain the same in the masculine plural form. If we go on to the feminine singular form, E would be added to it, that is mauvaise, and in the feminine plural form, E and S, both of them would be added, that is mauvaise, and it means bad. Now let us go on to the next one, that is beau, which means handsome, and in feminine singular form is belle, which means beautiful. So now why do you think that I differentiated between the same word? Just the difference is that they are in masculine and feminine form. The reason for this is that in masculine we do not say that the person is beautiful, we say it as the person is handsome, and in the feminine form we say it as the person is beautiful. So therefore we transform the masculine singular form as handsome, and the masculine plural form is also handsome, the feminine singular form is beautiful, and the feminine plural form is also beautiful. Now let us go on to the next one, but before that let me tell you that there is an exception in beau, that beau do not take S in the masculine plural form, it would take X, which is beau. Now let us go on to the feminine plural form. E and S, both of them would be added to it, therefore it would be belle. The next one we have is gros. So there is already an S in the masculine singular form, so therefore it would not change in the masculine plural form, and it means fat. Now if we see to the feminine singular form, another S and E, both of them would be added, and in the feminine plural form, S, E and S, all three of these would be added. So now in feminine singular form we pronounce it as grows, and in feminine plural form we pronounce it as grows. Now let us go on to the second last one, that is konta, and which means happy. So now I know that you all are happy by seeing my video and you are grasping the knowledge, you are intelligent. So there are two adjectives that I use for you. The first one is intelligent and the second one is content. Now if we see to the masculine plural form of content, S would be added to it, and in the feminine singular form E would be added to it, and that would be pronounced as content. Then let us go on to the next one, which is the feminine plural form of content. E and S, both of them would be added to it, that is, it would be content, and it means happy. Now let us go on to the last one, that is mécontent. So what do we understand by it? Content is happy, so why is mécontent? There is something resembling in it. So that's what I'm going to tell you here, that mécontent means unhappy. That is mécontent. Now let us go on to the masculine plural form of mécontent. S would be added to it, and in the feminine singular form it would be mécontente. So E would be added to it, and if we see to the feminine plural form it would be mécontent. E, S and S, both of them would be added to it. So here we have completed the one of the most important topic, and let us go on to the next important topic of this chapter, which is dans la classe. And the important topic that I was talking about is the verb. So now, hooray, we are going to study another verb. So now we are going to read the avoir verb, that means to have. अब हमें इंग्लिश में तो वर्ब पता है कि दैट वर्ब जो होते हैं वो एक्शन वर्ड्स होते हैं, जैसे कि उनके एग्जाम्पल हो गए प्ले और ईट. सो अब जो प्ले है उसके हम फॉर्म बना सकते हैं प्लेइंग or played. So these both are conjugations of the verb play, and play is in the first form of the verb. Therefore avoir is also in the first form of the verb, and we are going to read its conjugations. So now, as you all know that in the singular form we have it as je, tu, il, elle, and in the plural form we have it as nous, vous, ils and elles. These all are the subject pronoun that we have learned in the chapter number 2, and now we are going to conjugate it with the verb avoir. Now one thing that I need to tell you is that whenever there is an vowel, so je will transform into j apostrophe. So now let us read it out. The first one is je, which means I have. The next one is tu as, it means you have. Il a means he or it has. Then we have elle a, it means she or it has. So il is for masculine form and elle is for feminine form. Now let us go on to the next one, that is the plural form. Nous avons, which means we have. Vous avez, it means you have. Ils ont means they have, and elles ont also means they have, but just the difference is that ils is for masculine plural form and elles is for feminine plural form. Now here it is a short note given to us, that is, I have already told you here that je becomes j apostrophe before the vowel and silent h. So here we have done the irregular verb, that is avoir, and आपको अभी याद आ रहा होगा कि मैंने आपको लेसन 3 में भी एत्र वर्ब पढ़ाया था और वर्ब के बारे में सारा बताया था. तो अगर आपको इस वीडियो में इस वर्ब के बारे में थोड़ी सी भी डिफ़िकल्टी हो रही है तो पहले आप उस वीडियो को जाके कंसल्ट कर लीजिए और फिर आप यहाँ पे आके इसको देखना, तो आपको ये एकदम क्रिस्टल क्लियर टॉपिक हो जाएगा. और तब भी अगर आपके कोई डाउट्स होंगे तो यू कैन आस्क मी इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. नाउ लेट अस गो ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट, दैट इज़ द यूजेस ऑफ avoir. सो इट हैज़ मैनी यूजेस. तो वर्ब avoir का फर्स्ट यूज़ तो इसका मीनिंग ये है जो कि टू हैव होता है फॉर द फर्स्ट पर्सन, सेकंड पर्सन एंड थर्ड पर्सन. एंड द सेकंड यूज़ ऑफ वर्ब avoir इज़ टू टेल एज. एंड हियर आर टू एग्जाम्पल गिवन टू अस. द फर्स्ट वन रिप्रेजेंट्स दैट हाउ कैन बी इट यूज्ड to tell us that to have, and the second example is there to represent that how can be it used to tell the age of something. So let us read the first one, that is j'ai deux stylos. I have 2 pens. and it is telling the possession of someone that I have 2 pens, that person has 2 pens. And in the second one, j'ai 10 ans, I am 10-year-old, so the person is telling its age. Now let us go on to the next important topic that I already told you, that is how to describe a person or introduce oneself. तो ये जो पॉइंट है और ये जितने भी जो हमारे पास कॉन्वर्सेशंस हैं जो अपने आप को डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं, ये बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है एज दे हेल्प्स यू टू इम्प्रूव योर फ्रेंच एंड टू बी एबल टू मेक सेंटेंसेस बाय योरसेल्फ एंड टू इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ. इट इज़ अ बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक ऑफ लर्निंग फ्रेंच. सो लेट अस स्टार्ट रीडिंग बाय द फर्स्ट वन, दैट इज़ एल s'appelle Mem la Pairie. Then elle est professeure, elle est grand, elle est mince, elle est sympathique, elle a 35 ans, which means that this is Madame La Pairie. She is a professor. She is big, or it can also be representing that she is tall. She is thin. She is kind or sympathetic, and she is 35-year-old. Now let us go on to the next one, that is il s'appelle Anish, il est étudiant, il est petit, il est beau, il a 12 ans, which means he is Anish, he is a student, he is small, he is handsome, and then we have he is 12-year-old. Now here comes the part when you introduce yourself. So this girl is introducing herself, that is je m'appelle Pauline, I am Pauline, je suis étudiant, je suis petit, je suis intelligente, and j'ai 13 ans, which means I am Pauline, I am a student, I am small, I am intelligent, and I am 13-year-old. So now let us go on to the next one. Here we have two people, that is Dominique et Gionald. It tells us how can we introduce two people collectively. So first is ils s'appellent Dominique et Gionald. Ils sont étudiants, ils sont petits, ils sont intelligents, ils sont 14 ans, which means they are Dominique and Gionard. They are students, they are small, they are intelligent, and they are 14-year-old. So now here we have completed the next topic, and let us go on to the all-time favorite après table that is so fun to learn. So here first word is ami, which means friend, and ami is the second word that also means friend. But what is the difference? डिफरेंस क्या है भाई? तो पहला जो वर्ड है आमी, सो है ओनली AMI तक ही रिटन है. दैट मीन्स इट इज़ इन मैस्कुलिन फॉर्म, एंड आमी it is written till E is added to it, therefore it is in feminine form. So as it is written to us that the first one is in male and the second one is a female friend. Now let us go on to the next one, that is Ella Kailash. How old is she? Now then we have a yun 11, which means pupil. Now the last one, not the last one but the third last one, is un livre de français, which means the French book. En plus means moreover. Voila means there is, there are. So as you remember that we have used all these words in the chapter, they have come up somewhere. So therefore we have ended the chapter and we have completed it successfully. I say bravo to you all, very good. And here we have completed the chapter, and if you want the question answers, then you can go on to my other playlist in which I have explained and written these question answers to you. So I hope that you like the video. Do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Bye bye and have a nice day.